Madam Speaker, I beg to deal with a matter, question 10 on the order paper that's due for answering today, laid by the member from Southeast St. Andrew on behalf of the member from Northwest Manchester. Madam Speaker, the subject matter of the question is being reviewed by the Integrity Commission, which, as you know, is a commission of Parliament. I therefore crave the indulgence of the Honourable House in allowing for that process to be completed and the outcome presented to the Parliament.
Madam Speaker, I understand that the Minister himself, that the matter is with the Integrity Commission, but we feel strongly that matters that are dealt with by the Integrity Commission doesn't stop us or the Minister himself from answering certain questions that have been tabled here by myself. Because this is a matter, Madam Speaker, that is of national importance. It is not a matter that is in front of the court that will prejudice any decision that the court may make if it's not sub judice. All right? Thank you. So, you know, as much as the Minister has in his statement, we still feel, and I want to make it publicly for the Hansard, that this is a matter that I think that the people of Jamaica would want to hear on. And this is a matter that the Minister himself has not said a word on this matter at all. Because if you are to look at even item 5, if the Minister had even met with his team from the AAJ before they had a board meeting, it is a matter that is neither here nor there if it is in front of the Integrity Commission. So we are not happy on this side, and I'm sure that those who would want to hear from the Minister would not be happy. But we hope that the Integrity Commission itself doesn't take as long a time to table this report. But I'm stating publicly, Madam Speaker, that we would have wished that the Minister could have at least answered these questions. And if there is anything that would prejudice, then we understand. But we're not happy that is the decision of the Ministry.
Member, you wanted to say something?
I wanted clarity. I wanted to find out if the Minister is saying that the questions will be answered after the Integrity Commission completes its report, or the questions are not going to be answered because the Integrity Commission is probing the matter. Madam Speaker, having looked at those questions, while I respect the view of the Minister, it has no bearing on the work of the Integrity Commission. These are questions which are in the public interest, which are totally separate and apart from an investigation that is commenced by the Integrity Commission. And I don't think there's anything that the Minister will say that can prejudice that. If the matter was before a court, that's a different matter. But the matter is not before a court. And I believe the public deserves answers. The Integrity Commission process could take a year, it could take more, we don't know. And I don't believe the public should be held in the dark because of that. I don't find that response acceptable at all.
All right. Member, what they say, good things, all good things come to those of us who wait. And I heard member when he says he's not happy with the response, and I have listened to the member who just spoke. But it is my own view that there are 7 commissions of Parliament, and the Integrity Commission is one of those 7 commissions. It is accountable to us at Parliament, and therefore any finding that they make will be made public because it will be tabled in this House. I think as members of Parliament, we all have a great respect for the work of the Integrity Commission. And if in fact they are inquiring into a matter, their section 34(1) sets out the functions of a director of corruption and prosecutions. And one E, I think it is, says it performs prosecutorial functions relating to acts of corruption, and 34.2 speaks to the fact that it has the same powers and functions to prosecute as does the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. And therefore, they are investigating, they are inquiring into what the questions have spoken to, and I do believe that in good time, the Integrity Commission will table before us what is there. So out of deference and respect to the Integrity Commission and the work they're doing and the standing orders as it stands, I believe that we ought to wait until their inquiry. And we would not like to have any discussion in this Parliament that would in any way color, taint, go ahead of, stand beside, or go behind the findings of the Integrity Commission. I also believe that the Commission is working, will work, and will work speedily, and their report into this matter will be tabled before with us without.
Madam Speaker, this is a very important issue. Not just the issues raised by the questions themselves, which are important, and the matters of public interest. And the questions are questions of fact. They want to know what are the facts which a minister ought to be in a position to answer after he makes due inquiry through his powers as minister. The whole question of in what circumstances the right of a member to elicit facts about the public affairs of the country through the formal questioning process, the circumstances in which that may be restricted is fundamental. And this is something I've looked at in the past. And it relates to issues which are before the court and the sub judice rule. Now, the fact that the Integrity Commission is doing an investigation doesn't fall within the province of that exception. And it is true that the Integrity Commission has a Director of Corruption Prosecutions with powers to prosecute.
It does.
But there's no reason to think that this particular investigation will go that route. This is a matter being investigated by the investigatory branch of the Integrity Commission. And that could take any amount of time, and it ought not to circumscribe or limit the powers of a parliamentarian to invoke the questions procedure provided in the standing orders. It is not an exception to that procedure. And I think we're going down a dangerous and wrong path by attempting to forestall that process in the name of some parliamentary commission, in this case Integrity Commission, having entered on the reference, if they have. And the minister has indicated that they have. As you know, they're not empowered by law to say whether or not they have done. But at this point, I would say before you make a ruling, Madam Chair, I would love the counsel, the legal counsel to Parliament, to opine on this matter, based on the standing orders of Parliament, and to the extent there's any gap, the learning from Erskine and May. Because I think it is a very fundamental issue which goes to the transparency of dealings and good governance in our country. And I don't think that we should forestall a proper procedure, an important procedure of public accountability by saying that because some statutory body is looking at it, Parliament has to hold its hand and step back and wait. Because, as I said, the public has an interest in knowing the answer to those questions. And those are questions of fact. They're not questions of judgment. They're questions of fact, and they should be answered, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, may I just say that I do support the position that you have taken, and to say to the leader of the opposition, to the member who asked the question, the questions, as I looked at them, are really questions, to the best of my understanding, that would be before the Integrity Commission. So why are we duplicating the process? As I see it, these questions as to the purchase of shares, why they were purchased, have they been sold, are simple questions, Madam Speaker, which we expect the Integrity Commission would send us a report within a matter of weeks. And in those circumstances, Madam Speaker, what the minister is asking for, since the matter is before the Integrity Commission, let the Integrity Commission just report to Parliament. And if any of the questions have not been answered by the Commission's report, then he's quite prepared to answer those additional questions. But it's obvious from the questions that must be what the Integrity Commission is looking at. Well, what else could they be looking at? So, Madam Speaker, I would ask that we urge, and what could be done, Madam Speaker? From where you sit, Madam Speaker, you could ask the Integrity Commission to try to report on this matter as soon as possible.
Members, Leader of the Opposition, I respect your views, and it really is a sensitive matter, and I do believe the public requires answers. Those answers will be made, but I am more inclined to the way that the person who brought the questions answered it. He did say, when he stood up and spoke, that he was not happy with this approach, but he was willing to wait. The questions are brought by him until this report is brought. And you know, I'm thinking that the questions, the answers that the Integrity Commission is inquiring into, and if we go ahead now and start a question and answer and debated it, we're really defeating the mandate that the Integrity Commission has to inquire into the matter. So I'm going to say to you, I will take the advice of the Leader of the Opposition. I will write to them, and I will leave heavily on the member who brought the questions, who said he's not happy, but he's prepared to wait on the report. And you know, I say all the time, Christmas is coming, somebody will get a lovely present. I'm sure the Integrity Commission is going to make a fulsome report, as is the way they operate, and we look forward to that. And as I said, I'm going to take on the advice of the acting leader of government business this afternoon to write and ask them to do so in a
Madam
timely
Speaker,
fashion.
sorry, Leader, and just coming from the point of the Leader of the Opposition, because even this matter itself also affects our committee sittings also. Committee sittings, because many a times that there are matters that are at the Integrity Commission that committees are hearing, and it becomes a tug of war between government members and opposition members too, because there's this stance that it is being seen or heard or investigated by the Integrity Commission. So it is a matter that as a parliament we can't. So where the instance or the example that the opposition leader spoke about in having us decide on a procedure that when things are in front of the Integrity Commission, what prevents us as a parliament in hearing answers from ministers or even deliberating? So I'm not saying that in this matter, but going forward, it has to be dealt with, because there's a fine line that stalls natural justice, if you the want of a word.
Member, I want to thank you. I think your approach is correct. I think there is a procedure going forward, but I think as it stands here today, we respect the views you have, and as also the views by the leader and the other, but the questions answered in your name, and you have quietly said, correctly said, going forward. For now, my ruling on the matter is that the Integrity Committee is a committee that I think all members of Parliament have a lot of respect for. They do thorough and good work. I will write to them to ask them to, as hastily as ever, but for this afternoon, my ruling on the matter is that we will await the outcome of the findings by the Integrity Commission.
Madam Speaker,
yes.
I think the idea of you writing to them to tell them how to do their work, whether
I'm
to
not
hurry
going
to, I don't think that's appropriate.
Okay.
My own view is, as I've said already, the standing orders and procedures of Parliament provide for a way of getting facts on matters in the public domain of public interest. There are exceptions to that which are set out in the standing orders and in Erskine and May, and they relate to matters which are before the court. This matter is not a matter that is before the court, and I think we're going down a dangerous path where the Speaker and the government side say we can't ask anything in this domain because that particular body is looking at it. That body is going to be looking at it and drawing conclusions as to whether or not acts of corruption were committed or other malfeasance took place or maladministration took place.
Are all about?
Our questions are simply questions of fact, A, B, C, D, and they should be answered unless there is a basis in law, in the standing orders and the procedures of Parliament for them not to be answered, and none has been presented. And I reiterate, Madam Speaker, let the Council to Parliament opine on this matter because it's going to come up again and again, and we ought to have clarity as to in what circumstances a member's questions can be deferred or not answered. And it shouldn't just be because somebody thinks it's a bad idea. Let us see what the proper position is. That's why we have an attorney paid for Parliament's benefit. Let us get their opinion on the matter, ma'am.
Leader of the Opposition, I understand your views. I respect them. There is a standing orders committee that this matter can be referred to, and I hear what you have said, but I do believe, and maybe I also take your advice, that it is not appropriate for me to write to the Integrity Committee, so I will not write to them. But I am ruling this evening that the questions will be answered, and I'm thinking this is a matter that, as you have correctly said, we should direct to the Standing Orders Committee for movement forward. And on that matter,
one final point, just
please.
To reiterate a point raised by my colleague. As the chair of the PAC, there have been some reports done by the Auditor General which have been tabled in this House. I don't know whether the Integrity Commission has commenced investigations into any of those reports. They may or they may not. Once the MDA responds, the PAC will sit to meet. So if the principle that is being applied here to these questions, then the PAC is going to have a problem dealing with those matters. So I'm just saying it is very important, it is a very fundamental issue here, that we get proper guidance in terms of how we proceed.
And we will get proper guidance. My ruling stands for this evening. I agree and I take the points made by all members, and in particular that made by the Leader of the Opposition. I am going to refer the matter to the Standing Orders Committee, and that is how the matter will be dealt with for this evening.
Just a bit of clarification, I think, on that matter. Mention was made of the Legislative Council proffering an interpretation and legal advice, which is the remit of the position that we created in this Parliament to guide us legally. Will that consultation or that formal request be made for that opinion?
That will be made in conjunction with it moving forward to the committee. What I propose to do is to take the advice of everybody so that we as members have full clarity on the matter going forward.
Madam Speaker, just finally, as you will realize that this is a matter that is ongoing, it's continuous. Is there a time frame that you will set for that committee to meet and indicate what the ruling is? Otherwise, it could be almost deferred indefinitely.
Member, as the Speaker of the House, it is my duty to make sure that we operate in a proper fashion with clear understanding as to the standing orders, and we move as swiftly as we can so that all the matters that ought to be aired in the interest of justice is done. And I give you my word that that is how I will approach this situation.
We did a month or so then, Speaker.
I said that you heard what I just said. I am not no man is an island here, but I have given you my word that I will do all that I can to make sure that this matter moves forward swiftly. Thank you.